What's going on, guys? Mr. Acolyte here, coming at you with a bit of a different one today. Today, I wanted to go ahead and talk about the EVO 2024 lineup. Now, as I'm sure you've heard by now, DBFZ is not in the EVO lineup this year, and I definitely have a lot to say about that. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and talk about the games that did make it in, just to sort of give you guys my opinion on the list. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and take a look. Starting with game number 1 should definitely be a surprise to literally no one, that being Street Fighter 6. This is obviously a great pick and a guaranteed pick, because not only is Street Fighter still a very new game, hasn't even been out a full year yet, but Street Fighter is very synonymous with EVO itself. Street Fighter is just an EVO game when you get down to it. Whether or not you enjoy playing Street Fighter yourself, one thing that I feel most people can agree on is that Street Fighter is a very, very fun game to watch at high level, just because of the overwhelming amount of skill, the spacing, the hit confirms, the decision making. There's just something about like top level Street Fighter, especially at EVO. There's just something like kind of electrifying about watching Street Fighter at EVO. Always has been, always will be. And with the way this game is shaping up and just how competitive it is right now, you know, with people literally fighting for $1 million, I'm very, very eager to see not only who makes it into the top 8 at EVO, but who's going to end up taking it home. Game number 2 is Tekken 8. This should be yet another very obvious choice. Tekken 8 just came out as a brand new game, and not only that, this game is pretty much loved by everyone. Spectators, players, newcomers, veterans alike. Everyone seems to just be in love with this game, and for good reason. It's incredibly fun to play. The cast is very, very good. The new mechanics are fun. The game's flashy, it's fast, it's deep, great tutorials, a lot of modes, just a lot of content in general. It is a fantastic game and definitely going to add a lot to the EVO stage. This is another game where everyone knows that just, you know, Tekken tournaments are always very, very hype, and I just can't wait to see how the meta shifts with this brand new game with all these brand new mechanics. It's going to be very, very interesting to say the least. Game number 3 is Guilty Gear Strive. Strive being included makes a lot of sense because this game is pretty much, you know, still in development. They're still releasing characters. They're only on their 3rd season. They just had the season 3 launch where, you know, they added a bunch of new mechanics, really changed things up. It seems to have really shaken up the tier list a lot. People are really enjoying the new characters. There's still more new characters on the way, so this is another really obvious pick. Strive is one of those games where either you love it or you hate it, but I think one thing we can all agree on, much like I said about some other games, is this is definitely one of those kind of games that's very, very fun to watch just due to its incredibly explosive nature. Strive is the kind of game where when you're watching, depending on the characters, you just have no idea what's going to happen, and the fact that a round can literally end in under a minute always keeps things very, very interesting. Game number 4 is Granblue versus Rising. Following the trend of what we've been saying so far, this is yet another game that came out just recently, and if you've been on this channel at all, or you've been to any of my streams or anything like that, or you know anything about me, you know that I absolutely love this game. I find this game to be a fantastic sequel. It does everything right, free to play, great cast, rollback that functions very, very well, crossplay, all that good stuff. So many modes, customization, you name it. The mechanics are super fun. Cast is really, really great. Music is great, all that good stuff. So needless to say, I'm very, very happy to see this game in the EVO lineup. And I'm just very glad to see this game doing well in general, since the first game didn't really get a good shot at, you know, really doing anything since it came out at COVID times. But this game seems to be the polar opposite, and I really can't wait to see what this game's even going to look like by the time EVO rolls around, because, you know, we still got characters coming out for this game literally like every month. 2B comes out this month, so who knows how crazy this game's going to be by the time EVO rolls around, but I will definitely be very much looking forward to seeing that top 8. And game number 5 is Under Night 2. This one once again follows the trend of being a game that just came out. So here we go again. It is definitely no surprise that it's here. I, for one, again, am very happy to see it's here. I've heard literally nothing but good things about this game, other than, you know, the PC port being a little scary. But in terms of like the mechanics and being a sequel, I've heard like from pretty much everybody that this game is a great sequel and very, very fun to play. It looks very fun, looks very fast-paced, looks very crazy. I definitely want to try it out. The only reason I haven't yet is just because, you know, it came out literally like the same day as Tekken, and I had already decided I was going to learn how to play Tekken, and I figured learning this and Tekken at the same time would be pretty tough. But I am looking forward to becoming a Eunice enjoyer because it looks very fun and it looks like a game I would enjoy. Hopefully by the time EVO rolls around, I'll at least have learned the basic mechanics so I can have more fun watching the tournament, because I'm pretty sure the top 8 for this is going to be pretty insane. Game number 6 is Mortal Kombat 1. Now this one to me is by far the funniest game on the list. And that's not to say that I don't agree with it being here. I mean, it absolutely should. It's still a brand new fighting game. But unless you've been living under a rock, I'm pretty sure you have heard about the numerous controversies that this game is involved in. The thing that makes this game funny is that this game's community pretty much hates this game. Like they really are pretty much not happy with just about any aspect of it. Like they don't really like the balance, they don't really like the mechanics, they don't really like the monetization, the modes. There is a lot. The list could go on and on, but the point is, it is an EVO, and hopefully the devs just kind of listen to all the feedback and patch in a way where, you know, they kind of enhance the experience. I do think this could turn into like a really, really good fighting game with a long shelf life. Because, you know, NRS has always had a pretty strong presence at EVO, and I would like for this year's EVO to be hype rather than people being kind of worried about playing the game. And game number 7 is KOF 15. I think this is a really fun choice just due to the fact that how dedicated the KOF community is. KOF community, they pretty much just always stick with their game and support it no matter what. This is just one of those games where it doesn't have a lot of casual appeal, so usually if you're playing this game, you're pretty serious about it, and you're pretty serious about fighting games, so that usually leads to like a highly competitive environment. So add that into the fact that the goal of EVO is to crown the world champion, and I feel like with KOF 15, you're really gonna get a crazy competitive top 8. Not only that, this game is still being updated. I heard the last patch was really good and added some really cool new mechanics. I haven't checked in on this game in a while. The last time I was looking at it was around launch, and the game did seem really fun. I might check back in soon because I do really like KOF. It's just one of those things where it's like, you know, how many fighters can you play at a time? But either way, I think 15 is a great game, and it's another one I'm definitely eager to see what happens in the finals. And the 8th and final game, just like last year, is the Legacy game, and that is, of course, this year going to be Third Strike. I think this is a fantastic choice, and I just want to say that I'm a big fan of the Legacy category. I really love the idea of saving a spot for a Legacy game and like bringing attention to all these players that choose to stick with an older game and just continue to hone their skills even though, you know, the game has been out for so long. I just think that's something like really awesome and really special. In games like these, people just, they really don't stop, especially Third Strike. Last year it was Marvel 3, that's a good example, but Third Strike is one of the best examples of a fighting game that will pretty much never die. Like there will always be a huge dedicated community of people that will just always be playing Third Strike, and you can guarantee that this year's Third Strike tournament at EVO is going to be insanely competitive because you're going to get like all the people that pretty much never stopped playing, you know, the people that are probably playing matches right now on Fightcade, and then you're going to get, you know, the old goats are going to come back like Jay Wong and them, and that's just going to be nothing but hype. I'm definitely going to have my eye on this tournament, and I actually can't wait to see what the Legacy game next year will be. I really love this whole Legacy idea. And there you have it, all 8 games that will be at the EVO main stage. In my opinion, this is a very good list. Honestly, I can't really think of anything else that makes any more sense than this. You've got your Legacy game, and then you got your 7 mainline active titles, and I feel like all these games are either in the middle of still being patched or still releasing seasons or literally just came out. So this is a pretty much like a no-brainer list, and I feel like every game here there's something for someone. But the fact that 3 of the 7 slots went to anime is pretty crazy. A few years ago you might not have believed that could ever be the case. But now I think it's time we go ahead and acknowledge the elephant in the room, and that is the fact that DBFZ, for the first time in many years, will not be a part of the EVO main lineup. So my reaction to this is I am a little bit disappointed, but I understand. I'm not like, this game should have been there, DBZ should have been. Like, no, it's like I would have liked to have seen DBFZ there, but I understand why it's not. Personally, I believe the main reason is fairly obvious, and that's just literally the lack of rollback. If you just look at the list here of all the games that made it in, every single one of these games has a very great, very functional rollback. And having rollback in your game, all that means is that you can actually get active practice, and you can practice with a lot of people to prepare for a tournament like EVO. Whereas with DBFZ, there's no easy way to get practice. The only way you'll be able to practice is to meet offline somewhere, meet at a local or meet at a tournament, and that's just a lot more limited than some of these other games where you can literally practice at home or just, practice in an environment that's closer to offline. So just not having that ability is just a big negative towards the game when all these other games do have it. And then on top of that, as I said before, there's multiple anime games in the lineup already. I don't think they wanted to have, 4 out of 8 of the list be anime, and it just so happened that Granblue and Under Night came out back to back, so those games just kind of bumped it because they're new, they're fresh, and DBFZ has been out for many years, and it's been at EVO a lot, so it is kind of like time for like someone else to try. But all of that is not to say that I think the game is dead. I think the game will be fine once the rollback actually hits, and I just base that off of the massive reaction this game got from just the rollback beta. When the rollback beta hit, people were literally treating this like a new game had just come out. Like, people that hadn't touched or talked about Dragon Ball in years were streaming it. Outlets were talking about it. It was trending on Twitter. There are tournaments every day. Stuff like that doesn't happen for dead games or, games that people don't care about. Something like that can only happen to games that, have something that people want. People are excited about this game and people want to play this game. It's just that right now most people feel like they can't because, literally it's just the lack of rollback. But in my opinion, once the rollback does come out, I feel like it'll breathe a lot of new life into the game, and we won't have to worry about finding matches and stuff like that, because in my opinion, a game is not dead until you can't get on and play it anymore. DBFZ is definitely on life support. I mean, yeah, you can get on and play, but in its current state, do you want to? Do you want to get on there and deal with the delay-based menace? Most people say no, so that's why the game, I would say, is on life alert. It's just not dead because the rollback is coming, and I do still think that the rollback will, I don't want to say save the game, but I do think rollback will just breathe a lot of new life into it, and the people who genuinely like the game will come back and play it when the rollback happens. So that's why, I'm not really worried. And another thing that I hope people realize is just because it's not a mainline game doesn't mean that it won't be at EVO. Like, it's very, very common for games to not be, main stage, but they call it community tournament. So there would definitely be a DBFZ community tournament at EVO. It just won't be on the main stage, on like Saturday and Sunday. It'll most likely be like a Friday game, which is just fine. It's like people will still be watching. It'll still be hype. There may even still be announcements. They still do announcements for side games. And, being at EVO, it doesn't matter if you're on the main stage or you're a side game, whatever. It just matters, how much people show up to support the game. And with DBFZ, you just gotta continue to show your support, and hopefully that rollback will hit soon. And that about does it for my overall thoughts on the EVO lineup. We'll go ahead and end it there before I start yapping too much, but thank you so much for listening, guys. I really do appreciate it. Please be sure to let me know down in the comments what you think about all this. What do you think about the lineup? What game are you really looking forward to watching? How do you feel about the life of DBFZ? Do you agree with me that it's not dead yet, or do you think DBFZ really is dead and the rollback won't save it? Either way, like, definitely let me know what you think about Evo. Also, let me know what you think about this video in general. This is like my first time doing one of these Let's Just Talk About It videos. I would love to get some feedback on it. Let me know what you guys think. We can definitely do some more of these in the future, because I often see a lot of things that I'd like to talk to you guys about. So yeah, just let me know in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you feel like it. And as always, you guys have a great one, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.